I just like to start just by talking a bit just for context, who Movie Labs is, who our members are, what our mission is, some of the areas that we're focused on, and again, how we're engaging with the industry. I think that's a way to answer some of these questions. So fundamentally, Movie Labs is a nonprofit joint venture. We're owned by the five major studios, but the real mission that Movie Labs has is not it's not really the 2030 vision is what it is now, but in the past, the idea for Movie Labs is to tackle common industry work that benefits the industry, and maybe not just the studios, the entire industry. It's work that not one company can or should tackle on their own. In the past, a few Movie Labs initiatives are things like defining specifications in HDR, anti-piracy and content production standards, a digital distribution solution called the Movie Labs Digital Distribution Framework, which creates specifications for content delivery and metadata. There's other initiatives that you may know, such as the Entertainment Identification Registry, something called EIDR. EIDR provides a unique identification for virtually every film and television show on Earth, certainly everyone that's in the supply chain, because that's how they're identified. But of course, a lot of, as we talked about, a lot of people know Movie Labs through that 2019 white paper that actually was originally called The Evolution of Media Creation. And there's this notion of a 10-year vision for the future of media, post, and creative technology. And since the paper was released at the end of 2019, that 10-year horizon kind of became known as the 2030 vision. But I think it's important to say that the 2030 vision it's not a target date. It's not an expiration date. It's not a perishable by date. It just was a time frame long enough that allowed the original authors of the vision to not be kind of inhibited by short-term thinking. They were able to take kind of this long view, and I think what's important about the date is that if anything, it provides a really good focus for the industry. There's companies all over the world using these 10 foundational principles of the 2030 vision as kind of their own North Star. There are a number of companies all over the world that are implementing these 10 principles as kind of their engineering technology roadmap. And so while I don't want to drain them all, I'd love to kind of talk about the 10 principles of the 2030 vision at a kind of high level. They fall into what you might think of as three major categories. Cloud foundations, what does it take to work in the cloud? Security and identity, software-defined workflows. And while there's not one of these principles around the notion of interoperability, ultimately, that's really what all this is about how tools and workflows and infrastructures can work more seamlessly and securely together. So I want to just talk about them in these groups. The first five principles lay the foundation for work in the cloud. And I think it's important to talk here about what Movie Labs means when we say the word cloud. Cloud to us is really about connected, shared infrastructure for storage and compute. It can be provided by one of the large public companies referred to as hyperscalers, companies like AWS and Microsoft and Google, or a cloud can also be an on-premise installation of shared storage and compute, or it can be a combination of public and private on-prem, which are also referred to as these notions of hybrid infrastructures. And so when you think about the cloud, the first foundational principle states that all assets go to the cloud and are not moved. Today, workflows are really complex. They're really messy. They're really wasteful. We spend a lot of time in current workflows making files, moving files, copying files so we can move them to the next stage of the workflow. So the notion is everything goes to the cloud and stays there. That second principle states that, oh, the stuff you do to the assets come to the media. So instead of moving all this stuff around, the apps go to where the media is. And this is super hard to do. It definitely, for many, is aspirational, and there's some elements of this that will always need to move certain things around, maybe across clouds for performance reasons or to cache things at the edge. But the idea is if you can keep things where they are and move applications to them, it'll be a whole lot more effective. And so there are a number of efforts underway to deliver tools that do move apps to assets, and we're seeing that happen within our MovieLabs larger global community. Principle 3 is about, instead of making another copy when something needs to be seen or something needs to be distributed, that distribution is more of a publish function, making it available, sending a link, and then doing your work instead of sending it or making it or rendering it, sending a link to the next folks in the chain, or sending a link to the same media so that people can work on it simultaneously instead of making, copying, and moving files. Principles 4 and 5 are about archive, when all assets are now in the cloud and don't move. Your archive is already in place, and then all you need to do is apply some policies to the assets that say, hey, this asset is an archived asset. Here, who are the people or the departments or the functions that can access it? Here are the conditions under which it can be accessed and the things that can be done to it. And of course, it's important in Principle 5 to be able to store assets and to be able to access them in the long term. In the future, like we can with film, can last 100 years. There's a blog series on our website about archive. We have our own set of archive principles, and if you're interested in archive, love you to read it. And this is a discussion that we're really interested to have with the industry. Principles 6 and 7 are focused on a new approach, a next generation approach to security, which is important because in this cloud-based world, we have collaborators that are working across multiple projects, working across shared infrastructure. They're working across tools that can no longer really be neatly protected by a security guard and some cameras. So Principle 6 is about how to authenticate and authorize permissions for people across tools and workflows. Principle 7 is about this need for this new approach to security. We've published a 5-part architecture that outlines this approach to security called CSAP, Common Security Architecture for Production. This architecture is based on the cybersecurity concept called zero trust. And zero trust is something that the media supply chain is going to be hearing a lot about very soon, because TPN, Trusted Partner Network, part of MPA, which audits media supply chain companies, will be asking questions about zero trust in their next set of audits, because this zero trust and the CSAP is kind of this next path to security in these new sort of infrastructures. And finally, this notion of software-defined workflows probably need a bit of definition themselves. This is about enabling workflows that are flexible, adaptable, interoperable, where automation can get rid of tasks that no one needs to do and literally connect tools to each other. Principle 8 speaks to how using links to an asset creates an unambiguous way to identify them and also use them without having to know where they really are. Links are also a way to find assets associated with other assets. So for instance, an image file from a camera can be linked to the metadata of what might be in that file, linked to where it might be in the larger work, linked to where it might be in a visual effects shot or a trailer. the ability to really create connection and relationships between assets for effectiveness. Principle 9 speaks to how using common interfaces like APIs and common data formats like our ontology for media creation can kind of serve as Legos, kind of standard building blocks so that workflows can more seamlessly integrate. This makes it so much easier for tools to exchange assets and metadata and for tools to plug into workflows easier and in more standard ways. And I'll talk a bit about what that does with what ontology really means and does in just a bit as well. And then principle 10 speaks to how the cloud enables real-time iteration. Think about real-time game engines that can provide assets in virtual production that would have normally taken days or weeks in a visual effects workflow. Think about how Gen AI tools can deliver results in real time. And of course, your homework assignment for the folks watching, if you haven't read the vision, you should. And if you haven't read it in a while, I think folks would be really surprised about how prescient it is, about how we were talking about things like AI 5 years ago. In fact, this quote is really interesting. It says that rather than predict where artificial intelligence will have the biggest impact in the production and distribution of media, we're focused on creating an environment that enables these AI tools to work most effectively. I think this quote, I think it really says it all about where we are with the vision, which is really about laying the foundation for this next generation media creation systems that is, I like to say, that can be collaboratively and deliberately designed. The industry's coming together to do this, to enable tools to work better with other tools, for workflows to work better with other workflows, with infrastructures to work better with other infrastructures, and for tools and workflows and infrastructures to all work better together and to truly realize the promise of that digital age, that plug and play for work that really does flow. That's what the 2030 vision is all about. It's all about just getting all the stuff that stands in the way out of the way and building this industry environment that lets creators create with whatever tools they want to use, with whomever and wherever they want to work, all seamlessly and secure.